This is an EWTN News Link. I'm Tom Price. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he had a lengthy conversation with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday. He told reporters he reiterated strong support for Israel and strong disagreement with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's call for new elections in Israel last week. Johnson said it's dangerous for U.S. officials to tell Israel how to run its domestic affairs. Schumer called Netanyahu an obstacle to peace. And for the first time in over 4 years, the state of Georgia has executed a death row inmate. 59-year-old Willie Pyle was put to death late Wednesday by lethal injection after the Supreme Court denied his final appeals. Atlanta Archbishop Gregory Hartmeyer was among those advocating for clemency, saying that Pyle's intellectual disability was not considered during his trial. For more news with a Catholic perspective, visit EWTNnews.com. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie starts now.
Great to have you tuned in. Hi there. It is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. It is your show here on EWTN. 833-288-3986. I give you that number because I know you're going to want to call in. We're going to do a little reminiscing, a little walking down memory lane today. I'm Jerry Escher, along with Debbie Georgiani. Hey, Deb.
Hey, Jerry. A lot of memory lane here. We already have folks that are weighing in on social media. We're asking the question, what was your favorite cartoon growing up? And some of you have actually written in comic strips as well. So if you want to say that as well, it's an animated series that we used to read in the newspaper in the olden days, the golden days, the newspaper, or your favorite cartoon. And I have a little frog, a virtual frog happening here. So I'm hanging in there with you guys because I wanted to be on this cartoon show. I thought it was a lot of fun, Jerry. And I hope our listeners weigh in.
Yeah, it's time for you to call 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. Your favorite comic strip in the paper growing up or your favorite cartoon on TV. I have several that I would love to share here in a moment, but we want to let you know that the lines are wide open for you to call in. Let's make this a really impactful program. A lot of participation, 833-288-3986.
So, Jerry, favorite cartoon or comic strip or any animated series you wanted to share, please do it now. We can fill up the phone lines like Jerry said, it's open phone lines so you can share and we can learn and grow together. There's some interesting facts about even some comic strips I'd like to share, Jerry. One of my favorites was The Family Circus. Do you remember The Family Circus when we were kids?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I remember it ever since I was a little toddler. And a lot of people may or may not know this, but Bill Keane, the creator of that comic strip, he was Catholic and raised in Catholic schools, parochial schools. He died I believe in 2011 in Arizona, Paradise Valley, Arizona. That's where I live in Arizona. And he is laid to rest at one of our Catholic cemeteries. A lot of people don't know that, and that's The Family Circus. Great creative genius behind that comic strip. But for cartoons, Jerry, I'm just gonna go fast because I know that our listeners will definitely weigh in on this. For me, it was Speed Racer. I used to race home from school to watch Speed Racer, and because of it, I became a very fast driver. I'm just saying.
Well, I was going to say Speed Racer 2 was one of my favorites. So
no, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
We must have grown up in the same generation.
Era, yeah.
Wow, very cool.
Also, in addition to Speed Racer, I liked the Roadrunner cartoons.
Yeah.
Although looking back, those are kind of violent. There's
Very
always
violent.
something really bad happening in that.
Always somebody dying.
Cartoon. But
yeah.
What about you, Take Two family? 833-288-3986. We tell you on this show we cover every different aspect of life, and we all grew up watching certain cartoons or enjoying certain comic strips in newspaper and other publications. So, what about you? If you've got one that you would like to share right now, you'll be jogging the memories of many of us, and you can tell us, maybe wax a little nostalgic today on Take Two. 833-288-EWTN, 288-3986.
So Adam Bly and I, and on Spirit World, we tackled a lot of these animated series, even going back to Casper the Friendly Ghost and Ghostbusters, the movie, and we talked about how trying to normalize the whole demonic thing. I don't know if you remember, though, because I brought up to Adam Bly, I said, Adam, I used to love Speed Racer, but the theme song was He's a Demon on Wheels. Don't you remember that?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So then I had to take it off my list. I can't like Speed Racer anymore.
Oh, too bad. Did that leave a wound of some kind? An emotional scar?
I don't know, but I'm sure I went to confession for it. I don't know. But yeah, see, Jack Williams just reminded us of the theme song of Speed Racer. Yeah, it's so true. And these theme songs stay with you forever. You know, if you just close your eyes for a minute, you can remember some of these animated series or the cartoons or the comic strips. If you just close your eyes, this is the impact they had on all of us. Let's talk about it. 833-288-3986.
Yeah, a lot of cartoons ended up being made into like comic books as well. So if there was one that you particularly enjoyed, or maybe you've got kids now and they're watching them, I don't know if I haven't watched cartoons. I haven't watched hardly any TV for a long time, so I don't know even what kind of cartoons are on nowadays. But love to hear from you if you want to go back in time in your memory and share with us a cartoon that you used to watch, a comic strip that you used to read in the paper. 833-288-3986. I'll tell you, my uncle, who was the priest, Father Harold Thiel, he liked the Born Loser. Remember that, the Born Loser?
No, tell me about it.
Oh, come on!
I don't.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. The
Wow.
Born Loser.
Yeah, it was this guy who just, nothing good ever happened to him. Like, kind of walks around with the cloud and raining on the top of him.
Oh, how sad! Is it animated or not?
No, well, it was a comic strip in the newspaper.
Oh,
I wonder
that's
if it
so
still
sad.
is.
And he was called the Born Loser? That's kind of
Yep.
depressing. It's kind of depressing. Wow, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I'm going to have to look that up. Yeah, Jerry and we're getting some comments. We are close to the same age. Jerry, why don't we just disclose how old we are? I'm 58 and you are?
62.
62. So we're 4 years apart. We're in the same kind of generation category. We check the boxes the same way for close to being senior citizens, right?
Well, we are senior citizens.
Well, some places they raised it.
Oh, is that right?
You
So
don't get the
couldn't
senior
discount?
citizen discount.
Wow.
I know. They raised it. They're raising everything. We don't even stand a chance. Okay, so we want to ask our Take Two family, come on, you guys. It's time to have a little fun in this world, this crazy world. Don't turn on the news. In fact, stay away from the news. It's very depressing. Let's talk comics, comic strips, and let's go back to our childhood. Let's walk down memory lane. Let's think of those really nice, wholesome, animated series that we used to see on TV. Although, did they actually ever kill anybody on Roadrunner or anything? I don't think did. They actually kill? They didn't kill. They just hurt people, right?
Yeah, I don't think they could have killed anybody because then they would have been written out of the cartoon.
Oh, that's true. So they just hurt people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is very violent. That is true. We were raised with some violent comic series. Okay, so we do have 3 open phone lines, Jerry. I hope that our Take Two family goes down memory lane quickly and then calls in with their favorite cartoon or comic strip at 833-288-3986. We'll be right back.
Join EWTN Radio for Lenten Reflections, featuring priests of the Personal Ordinariate of Our Lady of Walsingham in England, Sunday morning at 6 Eastern and Sunday evening at 11:30 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
EWTN, communicating the faith.
I am a very happy, grateful revert to the faith. About 12 years ago, I was surfing the channels and I found EWTN. I didn't even know it existed, and I heard Mother and remembered that years ago I had told a Catholic nun at a church in Boston that I was visiting that I missed the faith, and she said, "You will come back." And when I was listening to Mother Angelica, I remembered that.
EWTN Radio is all over social media. All your favorite programs are available right now, on demand for you to listen or download. Check us out on SoundCloud. Look for EWTN Radio. Remember, EWTN is everywhere.
Tomorrow morning on the Sunrise Morning Show.
We'll help you start your day a better way with guests and topics that look at a variety of aspects of what it means to live our faith in everyday life. From scripture, catechesis, and church history to news, weather, and sports, we're here to help you begin the morning in prayer and with God's help, tackle whatever the day might throw at you. Hope you can join us.
The Sunrise Morning Show, tomorrow at 6 a.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Well, you obviously have given this a little bit of thought, and you have something to share because we've got full phone lines here, which we will get to in about 30 seconds. Asking you your favorite cartoon growing up, favorite comic strip, why was that? And, you know, do you still kind of miss them, or do you still maybe read them or watch them? 833-288-3986. Right before we go to the calls, I want to tell you that by providing quality programming faithful to the teachings of the Catholic Church, EWTN television is TV that viewers can trust. So whether it's films or documentaries or news coverage, lively discussion shows, kids programs, we highlight the truth that is the eternal word. So for a complete schedule of EWTN television programs, visit EWTN.com and click TV.
Very nice. Okay, we're going to go to Joe John in San Antonio, Texas on the EWTN app. Hello and welcome.
Yes, hello. Is this me?
Yes, we are. Yeah. Hello. Go right ahead.
Okay, my favorite cartoon growing up was watching G.I. Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been my brother's too. Go right ahead. Yeah, tell us why.
What was it about that? Yeah.
Well, basically, it represented family time, and my two older brothers and I would actually, take the time, and we'd had some of the figures, and we'd go ahead and, during free time play. But also, my dad was in the military, and it kind of was a tie-in, I guess. And, it was just fun to play it with at the time and watch the cartoon. And the cartoon, the development of the characters was the interaction, the development of the characters was interesting. So, and even the figures, when you had them in hand, they had a storyline behind them, and you learned a lot of interesting facts. From
Go ahead, Joe.
The different characters and the different responsibilities they had, like communications, leadership, and stuff like that. So I thought it was really a very interesting, not only cartoon show, but hobby as well.
Yeah, it sounds like it included a lot of, like virtues and might have been good for learning, things like that. I'm not personally familiar with G.I. Joe cartoons, but it sounds like, Joe John, this was one that you could, safely watch as kids, and, there weren't any, things that you were going to get bad ideas from. So, yeah.
I have to ask you, did you have all the G.I. Joe figures and all the toys to go along with it?
We had some. We didn't have, the line, like the entire line had like a huge amount because it ran through 1994. So we had some of them, but not a whole lot. And, you'd get some for birthday presents and Christmas presents. But also the overall, I think, learning point was it was good versus bad.
Sure.
And I think that's the overall factor that really played, because you always wanted the good guys to win. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's interesting. Anything that revolves around military or, like you said, good versus evil or, stuff like that. It's so interesting. This is totally off the subject, but it just made me think of it, Joe John. I love the board game Battleship. Do you like Battleship? Have you ever played it?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yes. You have to, I do. Actually, you've got to use a lot of strategy, and you've got to use, planning that goes into it, how you're going to position the ships and everything. So that kind of ties into the whole thing as well.
Great.
Okay, this is totally, again, off the subject, but I'm just curious. So the name that Matt Kabinski put up for you is Joe John. So do you ever go by JJ?
No, actually, I watch on YouTube, and the name that's on there is Yo Joe.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I guess, I may have misspoke, but I said Yo Joe, and he probably...
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for calling in. This was precious. Thank you for being first up on Take Two. What do you say, Jer?
Well, we're going to go next to, thank you again, Joe John. Kim is in Arizona listening, or actually I should say watching on YouTube. Hello to all of you watching on YouTube and Facebook. Hi, Kim.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well. Hope you are as well.
Good. I just woke up, so my voice is a little a little deep. I apologize. I wanted to call specifically because my grandfather was a very famous animator for Warner Brothers in Looney Tunes.
Wow.
So he did, Yosemite Sam, The Martian, Elmer Fudd, and the Looney Tunes really holds a special place in my heart because of that. And I was able to, we're devout Catholic, so I was able to watch him work in his little studio at home. He would so quickly do a scene, and I was just a little girl, and then he would flip the papers, and you would watch the guy tumble over his jacket or his coat. He was phenomenal, and he did Lord of the Rings in '78, and so many different ones.
Wow. Wait a minute, Kim, and this is your grandfather? Are you free to share his name?
Yes, his name was Manuel Perez.
Manuel Perez. Wow.
Manny Perez. So if you look at the end of the credits as they roll, you'll see Manny Perez on most of the cartoons there, and his career spanned about 40 years.
Yeah.
There was a famous. If you go to Wikipedia, I think they talk about there was a famous quarrel between some of the old favorites there. I have to look it up and see, but yeah, he did Fritz the Cat. That was in his later work. Fritz the Cat, Lord of the Rings, and so that's kind of a neat little family story.
And devout Catholic. So real quickly, is this grandfather on your mother's side or dad's side?
That would be on my dad's side. So my they are Mexican American family. So
okay, beautiful. And are they here in Arizona, Kim? Because you're in Arizona.
Yep, I'm in Arizona. So no, they were from California.
California.
So,
okay, very cool.
Yeah, and I was born here in Arizona. So when my mom was pregnant with me, she was in Arizona visiting my grandparents and had me here. So
wow, very cool. Thank you.
He's got a Wikipedia page too.
Oh, he has your grandfather has a Wikipedia page. Wow. Very cool, Kim. That is so neat, and they're devout Catholics. And then, and Kim, you live in Arizona, and you were born in Arizona, which is very rare, I have to tell you. So that's awesome. I'm in Arizona too, but it was so interesting when I wanted to share today about Family Circle and Bill Keene being at Holy Redeemer Cemetery in Arizona, which is our Catholic cemetery. So a lot of these devout Catholics had this beautiful creative side to them and now we have these amazing memories of the work that they have done. That's pretty cool, Kim, about your grandfather.
Thank you. It is interesting, and we have another similarity. Is you guys? My son just got back from Italy with Father Darren. You guys know Father Darren. You've spoken about him on your show. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
So.
Father Darren Merlino just went to Italy and he didn't tell us?
I know.
Wow, and your son just got back. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Did he like it?
Yeah. We were at Mass, and he was at Sacred Heart, just coming, being one of the priests for the day. And he said, "Hey, we're going to have a trip." So we took him up on it, and our son got to see the Vatican and all that. So that's nice.
Excellent.
Anyways, I won't get off the topic.
Wow,
okay.
Thank you, Kim, so much. This is what the Take Two family does. We are family. Kim, you are awesome. Thank you. And you go way back with Father Darren.
I do, yeah. We went to Franciscan University together around 1990, 91. So, yeah, what a great priest. All right, we have an open phone line talking about your favorite cartoon growing up, favorite comic strip, maybe what you liked, and maybe your favorite has been made into a movie, because they're taking a lot of these old, cartoon and comic strip characters and making movies about them. So
That's true.
Share your wisdom and your lived experiences. 833-288-3986. Barbara is next in Lafayette, Louisiana, tuned into Christ Our King Radio. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, how are you? I really
great.
enjoy your show.
Oh, thank you.
I had two favorites. One was Bugs Bunny, and the other one was Mighty Mouse.
Okay. I like both of those too. Go ahead, Barbara.
Bugs Bunny, I realized after I grew up that I was exposed to classical music, and I didn't know it, because a lot of the background music was classical music.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I remember those, both Bugs Bunny and Mighty Mouse as well. What about you, Deb?
But making that connection to the classical music realm, I totally agree with you, Barbara. I've heard that many times from my family talking about that, and so it does expose you to it. And that's what I think is what that was the beautiful result of the media work back in the day, if you will, because I think it had a little bit more depth to it for us to explore and grow and learn some good, wholesome principles. Some of it, as you know now, it's lost because of what's going on in the world. But back then, there was some interesting life skills and also music and also situations that we could all relate to as we grew into adulthood. I think it's fascinating. Barbara, so did you go into classical music or just play an instrument?
No, neither one. I just enjoy it sometimes.
You enjoy it, yeah, beautiful. Well, it's interesting you said that, because I love Andrea Bocelli. I love the masterpieces of the original classical artists. And I'll tell you what, they say it's so good for the brain. Did you ever read into that, Barbara, real quickly?
No, I sure didn't, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yep, classical music. They say it's fabulous for the brain.
Yeah, I can see why. Very soothing, very beautiful. All right, Barbara, thank you for being part of this conversation today. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Our number 833-288-3986. If you grew up with a TV, then you almost certainly had a favorite cartoon, or more than one, or maybe a comic strip in the paper, or maybe a comic book. We're just approaching things as a little bit lighter today on the program, but still, it's about life. It's about every facet of real life, which is like what we'd like to cover. 833-288-3986. Okay, Anna, hang on. You're right after Don. Don is in Buffalo, New York, listening on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Don.
Good afternoon, Jerry, and of course, Debbie. I want to commend you on getting back on, going back to the priesthood. Good luck with that. I'll keep you in my prayers.
Please do.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Going back, and of course to Debbie, I hope she feels better. I know she's been going through some situations, that's for sure, and hope for the best for her.
Thank you, Don. Thank you so very much.
But talk to you again. It's been a little while, and that gadget, Don, and I hope to refresh your memory, when back here. Well, back.
Sure.
But anyway, yeah, I have to go along with, Warner Brothers in general, but I have to say so much, and even my older brother always enjoyed the Roadrunner, and in fact, it was created the same year he was born in 1949. Of course, I'm about 30 years younger. No, that's not to say that, but no, I wasn't. I grew up. I don't remember the Speed Racers, but it sounded like it could have been quite a good show. But boy, I don't know what else to say. Just probably basically the Warner Brothers cartoons. I enjoyed so many of them. Mighty Mouse, of course. I remember. I think it was on the Captain Kangaroo show. But just I can go on different things. But I guess probably the Warner Brothers. And of course, I enjoyed Mickey Mouse too. But I mean, just to try to focus in, maybe it was because even on Saturday mornings now on one of they call the My TV, it was on. They shows the Warner Brothers shows. The cartoons there, and but of course, if you want to talk comic books quick. I enjoy Superman because my older brother was big on collecting comic books, and he had a slew of them, but he did end up saving out some what really costs, were more valuable. But, and I even seen some of them in later times. They say, well, some of them probably $25 or something, or $30. And of course, back then, 10 or 12 cents was the normal price at that time. And it just, I don't know, it's just memories. It's a great topic that you brought up. I said, well, I have to get in here and see what it's all about today.
Well, you sure did, Don, and you had a lot of very insightful things to share on that. But Warner Brothers, kind of across the board, then, Don. Whatever Warner Brothers put out, you apparently enjoyed when you were growing up.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Well, thank you for participating in this conversation today. We have a lot more calls we're going to get to. Yeah. Don, thank you so much.
And it's good to hear your voice, Don. Stay in touch. Yeah. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful rest of your Lent. We do. We're going to hit the pause button in a moment. Don just freed a phone line if you'd like to get in on a favorite animated production, series, cartoon, comic strip, anything that used to make you just kind of float away and forget about your homework and stuff like that, and you just kind of daydreamed and went out there into that. I did used to dream of having a really fast sports car. I really did, because of Speed Racer. I did. You had fun. We had fun when we were kids, right?
Yes, I believe you. All right, Anna, just a couple more minutes here. You were going to make a great contribution to the program. I can see that already. And we have Claire in Michigan. We have Sue in Florida. And a line that is open for you. Favorite cartoon or comic strip or comic book as you were growing up. Maybe you still enjoy them today. 833-288-3986. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie is on YouTube. Search YouTube to find the EWTN YouTube channel so you'll never miss an episode of our show or any of your favorite EWTN radio shows.
In confusion and uncertainty, there emerges a guiding light.
Every single one of us, we're weak. All of us are sinners in need of God's mercy. Yet despite that, God can still use us for His glory.
A beacon that cuts through the darkness.
Our weaknesses can't be excuses for God not doing His will.
I'm Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers, and I invite you to join me for Beacon of Truth, today at 4 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
As Lent progresses, we move closer and closer to Good Friday, where our Lord will suffer so much for us. During Lent, we often speak of three traditional practices: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. And really at the heart of it is fasting. Fasting is a way of making room for God. Perhaps we will fast from food, and in that way we can save money and then give alms. Or perhaps we'll fast from some activity, perhaps looking at the internet so much, or television, or some other lawful pleasure. And in that way, we'll not only save money, but time, and we can spend more time perhaps praying, engaged in spiritual reading, or spending time with our family and children, or getting to Mass or adoration. All of these are ways that fasting is really this idea of making more room for God, making that room in our life for spiritual things.
For daily Lenten reflections, Lenten schedule, and resources to make this Lent a most meaningful season, visit EWTN.com/Lent.
Conversation about God's truth along with guests and your calls. I'm Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers. Join me for Beacon of Truth, today at 4 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
It's always great to have you tuned in with Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. We want to thank the show team, of course, as always. We have Charles Beery, who's our producer, Michael McCall on social media, and Matt Gabensky is screening your call right now. If you call in right now, Matt will pick up the phone and talk with you about what you'd like to share on the program. 833-288-3986.
So I wanted to share real quickly before we get to Anna. Anna, hold on. This is a funny story because as we were going into the break, I shared that I always wanted a fast race car because I watched Speed Racer every day after I came home from school. And my mom took such good care of her brand new Monte Carlo. She had a very fast, super fast engine in her Monte Carlo. It was gorgeous. It is like a deep blue, and it was just beautiful. And when I when I turned of age to drive, she said to me, Debbie, I'm going to let you have my Monte Carlo. And I was so excited because it was super fast.
Wow.
And right before I got the keys to the car, my dad took it to work and got in a car accident and smashed up both front fenders of the car and brought the car back completely smashed up that my mother took such good care of. And then, so my dad handed me the keys of this broken car, and I said, Dad, I don't want it now.
That is too funny.
He busted the car like a week before I got it. So there you go. It wasn't meant to be. See, God knew I should not have a very fast car. Okay, Anna in Richmond, Michigan on Sirius XM 130. Hope you got a chuckle out of that, Anna. Welcome.
Hi, yeah, I can appreciate that story about the automobile. The memory I have is as a very young child watching a claymation production, and I only believe it was about 15 minutes long, and it was presented here locally on Sunday morning for children to watch, and it was called Davy and Goliath. And I absolutely waited for that every week, along with going to Mass and going to Catholic school. That series just reinforced everything that I was being taught either at home or in school. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that production was initiated by the Lutheran Church, but the message was a very Christian message, and the adventures of Davy and Goliath. And Goliath was the dog, and Davy was the little boy. And there was always a lesson about your faith, about being a good Christian, about doing the right thing. And it was great. It really was great.
Wow, I'm wondering how I missed this one, Anna, because I don't have an immediate recollection of it. But I did go online and I looked it up, and that Wikipedia page does say it's a Christian clay animated children's television series. And then it says, here's a start of another paragraph. In general, the characters find themselves in situations that have to be overcome by placing their faith in God. That is really cool. I missed that one, Debbie. Did you see? Are you
I missed. I looked it up as well. That is fascinating, Anna. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. We really appreciate it. See, this is why we do these broadcasts, these shows, these episodes, so that we learn and grow together. And you just enhanced all of that for us, and then we just learned something. I just made a bookmark here of going to go back after the show and learn more about it. Thank you, Anna.
Anything else, Anna, before we let you go?
Just really quickly, I was listening to your previous callers, and when classical music came up, I had a long-forgotten but memory of, as a child, going to Catholic schools. Periodically, the Felician sisters who taught us would have a movie afternoon. And this is before VHS or, anything. It was reel-to-reel movies, and they would play Fantasia. And it was amazing. To this day, I could just watch that animated Disney production of Fantasia over and over again. It stuck with me all this time. So thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for calling in the first place, and thank you for waiting as long as you did, Anna. God bless you. You'll be in our prayers. Please keep us in yours as well. And we'll open up a phone line here. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you for coming up on 9 years, actually, March, April, May, June. We're less than 3 months till our 9th anniversary of the show.
June 15th.
Well, it's only here today because of you, the Take Two family. We can't say that enough. So thank you. And if you'd like to be a part of today's show, favorite cartoon, comic strip, comic book growing up, or maybe currently in your life, 833-288-3986.
I just thought of this. Let's ask Charles, our producer, if he can make a note about this. We should, for our anniversary, sometime during the anniversary week, we should ask if anybody remembers one of the first 10, 12 shows from the very beginning. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, well, maybe there are some people who do.
Well, the Lunch Bunch group started like right away. You know, we had a lot of groups start right away that have been with us from a long time ago. Ron from LA just said he remembers Davy and Goliath. Ron
great.
from LA just said that. Yeah, and we've been praying for Ron. So, Ron, just know that you're in our prayers. So, yeah, so people, it's jogging people's memory.
Very good. And we want to get to more of your calls now. Claire in Jackson, Michigan, listening on Good Shepherd Radio. Hello, Claire.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. Thanks for getting me on. And I just want to say real quick, I always listen whenever I'm home at this time, and I love the show. Love, love, love.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. We love you.
We do, absolutely.
Thank you. So guess what? I was calling about Davy and Goliath, but I'm going to try to make it quick because it evoked thousands of memories. So real quick, so Catholic school, Sisters of St. Joseph, and I loved everyone. They were my everything as a young lady. And so I really had that environment of really striving and wanting to, do the right thing. A little child is really grasping for what we would like to keep doing as adults. But on Sunday morning, we were very limited on TV in our household. So Sunday morning, my brother, we always went to the high mass, the big family mass. So we had time in the morning. My brother and I would get up real early and sneak and watch TV while everybody was sleeping. And he would watch this hideous show called Clutch Cargo, which was geared towards boys, and it was a cartoon-like show, but they were somewhat stationary, but their mouths moved. And I hated the show, hated it, but I had to let him watch it because he was older than me, of course. And so then after Clutch Cargo, thank goodness, Davy and Goliath would come on. And Davy was the little boy, Goliath was the dog, and it was... I just found out through your program it was a claymation type. I just thought it was really bad cartoons in those days, but it was the most precious, wonderful, interesting, adventurous, but it reinforced what I was learning all day long in school, what I was feeling. I didn't know it was reinforcing that because it always did have, a problem that had to be sought out, the answer, and the answer was, I'll just say it was the right answer. It made you think. It was a great, 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 great show, and I just loved it. I don't know if kids nowadays would like shows that basic, but my kids growing up liked to listen to, and I got the little record or tapes and cassette tapes, and they'd listen to it on the radio. A program, it was a cartoon-based type thing, and I think the little leader of this group was named Salty, and it was a hymnal. He was a hymnal, but he was animated, and so his group of kids at this church would also find themselves in different situations that they had to seek out, God or God's teachings for the answer. So those are just some great memories that you made me think of. And Davy and Goliath was really good. And then I'll end real quick with this. So here I was, this wonderful child trying to become nun-like in everything I did, and I would sneak downstairs every now and then, and my brothers had like a hangout room in the basement, and I would go in their little cupboard and I'd get out Mad magazine. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I would look at that Mad magazine, and I would think I was having a mortal sin for sure, because it was so racy and weird in, 1960. So anyway, just something to think about. And it.
Yeah, wow. Lots of great stuff you shared there, Claire. Thank you so much. Another one for Davy and Goliath as well. That's 2 calls in a row, and both of them from Michigan as well. Debbie, maybe Something
Yeah.
about being in Michigan. You like Davy and Goliath.
Yeah, absolutely. Claire, thank you so very much. I made a bunch of notes as you were talking. Great call. We appreciate it. Okay, we've got to go a little bit quicker if we're going to get to everyone. So Finn is up next, and Finn is one of our younger members of the Take Two family, listening on the Station of the Cross. Hello, Finn.
Hello.
How are you,
So
sweetheart?
my favorite cartoon is G.I. Joe and Spider-Man comics.
Nice. Why? Okay, tell us, Finn, why you like G.I. Joe and Spider-Man.
Because I like it because of all the action and just because they're fun to watch.
Yeah, they sure are.
Keeps your attention, huh? You like that?
Did you
Very
see the
cool.
Spider-Man movies, Finn?
Not really.
No. Go ahead. You were going to say something else. Go ahead, Finn.
And because they always teach a good lesson in the
Yeah.
end.
Amen. That's important to you. That's important to you, right, Finn, and to your family, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Finn, if you were here with us in studio, we would give you a big hug. You're a sweetheart.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Finn. God bless you. Have a beautiful day calling from Ohio, listening on the Station of the Cross. Thank you, Finn. We appreciate that
Thanks,
very much.
Finn. 10 years old. I love it.
Yeah, I want to get to a quick word here before we go back to the phones that you can join us for Stories from the Heart with Sandra McDevitt on Sunday mornings at 9:15 Eastern Time on EWTN Radio. Stories from the Heart features Catholic inspirational stories that are uplifting, bringing the heart and soul closer to God. The stories span the late 1800s to the present day. That's Stories from the Heart, 9:15 in the morning Eastern Time on Sundays here on EWTN Radio.
Okay, and there is an open phone line because Finn just freed it for you to call in. You still have time. You got to go quickly, though. 833-288-3986. If you want to jog our memory, go down memory lane about a comic strip, a cartoon that you liked, some animated series, or even, a lot of people are talking about Mr. Rogers and all sorts of stuff. I mean, yeah, that's fine. Anything that used to entertain you when you were young, okay? We're all young at heart, right? Sue in Florida, you're up next on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Sue. Welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you?
Great. I know what you're going to say, and I forgot to mention it, too, because I liked it, too. Go ahead, Sue.
Underdog and Mighty Mouse.
Yes, yes. I love it.
I loved Underdog. Well,
Me
both
too.
of those, actually.
Oh, my gosh. I had my mom get me capes, and I would run through the house singing the theme song, saving everybody. I think I liked it that, they truly were the underdogs, small animals, meek animals, and they came out and saved many people in situations. And I just have always been drawn to that good versus evil and just enjoyed those so much when I was younger and acting those out.
Me too. Underdog. I love it.
Yeah.
I remember in the capes, I used to take, this is so embarrassing, Sue. I used to take tablecloths and I'd wrap them around with a clothespin. Did you ever do that, Sue? You probably had real capes, huh?
Oh, yes. With the clothespin in the top there and run through the house with it flowing. Yeah. Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah. I used to love it. And my mother then would start yelling, put that away. And then, you'd have to go fold it up and put it away. Sue, that brings back such good memories. I'm going to have to look. There's got to be videos of Underdog, right?
Oh, I'm sure online, yeah. You ever go and to look at any of those, Sue, as you're a little bit older now? Or are these just things you watched when you were a kid?
Just when I watched when I was a kid. There's nothing on there like this. The cartoons today are nothing like what we saw before with, a lesson or anything like that. It's kind of scary. I teach in a Catholic school, so when my kids come in and tell me the things that they watch, sometimes I'm like, that's really not, kid friendly, if you will. So, yeah.
I totally agree. Well, they have such political undertones, or they're vulgar, or there's something that's just derogatory. I mean, when ours was, it just seemed so. I mean, yes, there was violence, like Jerry was talking about, like with Roadrunner and some of the other ones, but other than that, there was these life lessons that we could learn from, and they were more wholesome. I agree with you, Sue.
It was you definitely knew the right from wrong, and I feel like today there's a lot of bullying, like you said, very demeaning kind of things, and it's just not that way. Before it was definitely, you knew the bad guy, you knew who the good guy was, and it just is. It's sad today for the kids watching the cartoons.
Well, we've done shows. In fact, recently we did a show. Was there another time in history that you wish you had lived? And a lot of people focused on the 50s. And, we mentioned on that show, so I don't know if you were listening, but how, things were different. It was a more innocent time, kind of a wholesome, healthy time, to be alive. And that was, I think, reflected in the media. And of course, after the 50s and the early 60s, when most of these cartoons came out, I think, Debbie and Sue, we lived in a time back then where there was still this sense of morality, this moral compass that people had, and especially as these things were being directed at young people, I think they really wanted to protect that innocence and put stuff that was wholesome and healthy out there. That's just a thought I had anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Sue, you said you're a teacher at Catholic school. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's definitely my ministry, and I wake up every day loving what I do, serving the Lord and sharing my faith with my little friends. And we're getting ready to keep us in our prayers for reconciliation and communion, because I teach second grade. So it's an exciting time for us as we embark on that. And I just love seeing them and the Holy Spirit entering them and filling them with His love.
Amen.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll keep
Bless
you in prayers.
Sue. Yeah,
I just made a note.
Be praying. Yeah. Thank you, Sue. We'll definitely be praying. Okay, moving along here. We got still. Go ahead.
We're getting a lot of comments coming in about Sesame Street. That we didn't mention Sesame Street. I was not a big Sesame Street viewer. Were you? I was not
either. No.
And I wasn't. I feel sad because I love the movie that Tom Hanks did about Mr. Rogers. And I wish I had watched a little bit more of it. I didn't like that either. I liked Speed Racer.
Well, let's see what Bruce grew up on in Dover, Wisconsin, listening today on WSFI. Hello, Bruce. Thanks for waiting, and welcome to the show.
Well, good morning. What a joy to celebrate our inner child.
Yeah, exactly. You captured the essence of the program, Bruce. Very well.
Well, you are. So let's go to Davy and Goliath. But prior to Davy and Goliath, we have Art Clokey, and he came out with Gumby first. Okay, another claymation, and amazing. That series is amazing. And Art Clokey went on to write symphonies, and they played them at the auditorium in San Luis Obispo, California, his home. So there you have it, guys. You didn't miss a thing.
Wow, I didn't know that. So Art Clokey wrote the symphonies and made Gumby. I did not know that. That is fascinating. Do you have some connection other than you just like this history, or is there some personal connection, Bruce?
A personal connection.
Wow. It's not you. It's not who. I mean, how far back does this go? Is it a relative?
Of course, a blood relative. Yeah, a little girl I shared a womb with.
Wow, are you saying this is? I guess I'm not picking up on that. So, it must be a relative, a sibling?
No, it's my sister.
Your sister. That's what I thought.
A girl I shared a womb with.
That's what I thought. Okay. So your sibling. Yeah. So your sister. So you're twins.
No, we're 4 years apart.
Okay. I thought you were twins. Wow. Congratulations. You have some creative talent in your family.
Well, I was raised a Roman Catholic, okay? So I've got it from birth.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, God bless you, Bruce. Thanks for the call. Thanks for chiming in here.
Well, that's what I thought when we said it was
Yeah.
talking about a sibling, and then he was sharing, and I thought, could they have possibly been twins? But I mean, how amazing to have that in your family. That is huge. And for Bruce to be listening and to call in and to share with all of us, see, the Take Two family, we reach all over the place.
Yep. Thanks, Bruce. Have a blessed day. We're going to get to as many as we can here. Sue in Spearfish, South Dakota, listening today on Real Presence Radio. We're going to go to Sue next. Hello there.
Hi there. How are you?
Doing well. Better now that you called.
Thank you. I am a first-time caller. So I just wanted to say I also listen to David Goliath Sunday morning, but also before church we got to watch Johnny Quest. And I love Johnny Quest and his little dog Bandit.
Yeah.
Always a good message from them. And of course, when I was young, there weren't many channels to watch from like there is today. I think we had 3 channels and maybe one worked half the time. So.
Well, I've got a question. Speaking of that, related to that, Sue, do you remember that was back at a time when stations had to sign off at a certain, like midnight or 2 in the morning or whatever, and then there would be the screen would just be this black and white static. We called the ant races, But do you remember that, Sue, when stations had to sign off at night?
But they always did our national song.
We're glad we got to squeeze you in. We are getting comments about Bruce's call about Gumby. A lot of folks are saying thank you for reminding us about Gumby, and some people are saying they recognize Bruce's voice. So I don't know, Bruce, if you've done any voiceover work or what work you've done in that area, but people are saying they love your voice. So Buddy is up next in Butte, Montana, waiting so patiently on Queen of Victory Radio. Hi, Buddy.
Hi, how are you today, Debbie and Jerry? Nice to talk to you again.
Likewise.
How are you?
Good.
Hey, I wanted to make a quick comment. My favorite cartoon was In the Beginning from EWTN on TV. Those were my top favorite shows. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Batman, the animated series, was also another favorite of mine. Those were my most favorite 2 shows ever to watch on EWTN, and the Batman animated series was so great.
Wow. I was not familiar with that one, even from EWTN. Maybe we'll have to look more into that. What did you mention the name of that one, Bruce? I can't remember if you mentioned the name or not.
Yeah, it was called In the Beginning.
In the Beginning. Okay.
It was aired multiple times on EWTN. It was mostly about the Old Testament from CCC Productions, and man, they were such great shows. It was from Abraham, mostly Adam and Eve. Let's see, the story of Babylon. Oh, there was so much. I can't remember it all. It was so unbelievable. But I just want to make a quick comment and tell you guys that that was so good to watch. In the Beginning and Batman the Animated Series.
Well, I can tell you, buddy, right now, everybody who's listening to the show at EWTN, they're going to hold you in high esteem now because you mentioned an EWTN cartoon in the beginning. So thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. We're going to go fast here if we can. Got a couple minutes left. Tracy in Dew Shore, Pennsylvania, listening on JMJ Radio. Hello, Tracy.
Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Doing all right. How about you, Tracy?
Good, thank you. Really enjoy the topic today and every day, actually. Love you guys. And I was thinking of Schoolhouse Rock. I used to watch on Saturday mornings, and I was very good at English and grammar. It helped me out. Conjunction, function, all the music and the animation was wonderful. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. Yeah.
Just a bill where the little bill is sitting on the steps, and it was so cute.
Yep. That's how we learned so much. I remember that. Tracy, I so agree with you. I forgot about that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we learned, and it's so catchy because I can close my eyes right now and see some of the images. That's how strong it was. Yeah, I totally agree.
Thanks, Tracy. Marty in New York, you hear the music. We don't quite have time to get to you, but you were going to mention Popeye and Rocky the Flying Squirrel. So what a wide variety of cartoons.
Forgot Popeye.
Yeah.
How could we forget Popeye?
I don't know. Shame on us.
Oh, I know. Great job, you guys. Take Two family always takes it to great heights because you are amazing and we love you so very much. Thank you to the show team, Matt and Michael and Charles. You guys are terrific. What do you say, Jerry, about tomorrow?
Thank you for affiliates for carrying the show. Tomorrow, we always need to have things we're looking forward to that get us excited in our near or distant futures. Tomorrow, what are you looking forward to? Some kind of a graduation, a wedding, a vacation? That's tomorrow. In the meantime, St. Benedicta Frassinello, Saint of the Day, please pray for us. We will talk to you tomorrow. God bless.
The most original Catholic content is on EWTN Radio.
On EWTN News In Depth, a preview of the abortion pills case at the Supreme Court next week.